What's up, guys? mcstu here. Today we're going to talk about the first contact day event and go over what you need to do to complete it and get the rewards for it. We're going to go ahead and run through what I think is the easiest way to go about doing it, and that is the model rocket launch contest, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. You do have a choice between a patrol and a TFO. If you get tired of any of those in particular, you can rotate through any of those. It's on a 20-hour cooldown, and you just need to do that daily until the event is over. The model rocket one is fairly easy. You can do minimum effort or maximum effort depending on what you want to do. You don't lose anything by losing the race, I guess. And I guess let's talk about what you do here, and I'll go into more detail as we watch myself go through the run here. So you have your table that you're at. You have a color with a backpack with that same color, so you know what table to go to. Once the timer starts, you're going to start running around the map, finding scrap piles and collecting components to build your rocket out the best that you can. And as you get components, there'll be different rarities, and you'll pick up a component, run it back to your table, and go ahead and put it in the rocket. It's just an interaction. You don't actually put it in the rocket yourself or configure anything. So the more of those components you get at the higher quality levels, the better your rocket's going to perform. So at the end of putting this whole thing together, you'll be transported over to the launch pad, and all the rockets will launch, and it's a race essentially. I've had some where I've gotten all purple gear, and mine still blew up. So basically what will happen is the better gear that you have, the faster it's going to go, but it seems like it's random whether or not it blows up or not. Again, none of that really matters. It's not going to change the amount of marks, the lithium, or whether or not you get your daily reward. So on this particular one, if you're in a hurry, or not necessarily a hurry, but you just want to get through it quick and you want to put in minimal effort, you can literally just run out, pick up one part, bring it back to the table, put that in, and that's all you have to do. So you do have to interact, and you do have to collect at least one part. But if you just do that, the timer will go through, it'll transport you over to the launch site, and then it'll launch it. You'll most likely lose, although there's been times where I've done the bare minimum and I have actually won. So I really think a lot of this is random regardless of how good you do, but your chances are better the more higher grade parts that you get. So let's talk about if you want to get all the different parts. So there's different sections of this map, and if you're standing in the center of the map, and I'll show it later here in the video, there's an entrance going outwards from that circular center where all the tables are. They have different colors on the banners that go across those entrances or exits, I guess. And each one of those is a different section for different parts. So you have hull, stabilizer, and the engine. So if, say, you go out into the engine section, and if you're not sure where you're at, when you enter the section, you'll get a little thing that pops up on your screen and says what section that you're in. But once you go in and pick it up, and let's just say you get engine and stabilizer and you happen to get lucky and get purple ones, then you would want to go into the hull section and just stay there and farm until you get a highest quality that you can, preferably a purple one. Purple is going to be the highest. So you got green, blue, and purple. It's somewhat rare to get purples, but there is a way to upgrade those, which you'll see at the end of this. But essentially what you want to do is get each of those parts at the highest quality. So generally what I'll do is I'll just rotate through it. So I'll go out into the map, I'll get a part, I'll come back, and then I'll go into the next section of the map, get a part, come back in, and then rotate out. You will find in some instances you'll be in a section of the map and none of the scrap piles are lit up. So when you go to a scrap pile, you have 3 opportunities to get something out of it. Sometimes it's nothing, sometimes it shocks you, sometimes it's a part, or sometimes it's a part and it says that it's not useful to you. The other issue that you might run into is you'll be in a section of the map, and during this particular run, I found myself in a section of the map, and everybody else that was running this contest was also in that same section. So we were all kind of fighting over the same scrap piles, and most of them had already been spent. So I decided to go ahead and leave and just go to another part of the map. Now the scrap piles do respawn, so you'll see like on some of those, once the yellow goes away and you can't pull anything else from it, you run away from it, you go out farming somewhere else. But after a certain amount of time, and I don't know how long that is, it's probably like 20 or 30 seconds, that scrap pile will become farmable again. So you can't exhaust all the resources on the map. You can go through and go back to same scrap piles that you've gone through and pulled parts from. So if you're missing out on a particular part that you're trying to get a better quality from, go elsewhere, or just keep running around to the scrap piles that are within that area until one of them lights back up, and then you can go ahead and farm that again to try and get those parts out of it. Now towards the end, once you're finished collecting parts and the timer runs out, you're going to go back to your station. And I guess let me back up. There's also one other thing that can happen that didn't take place during this time for me running this. Your table can catch on fire. And if that happens, you get a notification and you got to run back over, interact, and it uses a fire extinguisher on it. I don't know if that has any kind of effect really on anything, if it downgrades parts or destroys parts. Let me know in the comments if that has any kind of effect. As far as I know, it doesn't, but I might be wrong about that. Once the collection phase is over, then you'll be told to go back to your table. There's another little prep phase. It takes like 30 seconds. And then what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to adjust the parts that you have. So what'll happen is you click on adjust parts, and you're going to get a little mini game that pops up. The easiest way to do the mini game is using the arrow keys on your keyboard, up, down, left, right. You just match up the signals, and once it matches, you're good to go, and then it'll randomly give you another part. It's not going to downgrade the quality, but you have a chance to get an upgraded part from that. So on this particular one, I didn't have anything purple that I found until I started adjusting the parts, and then I ended up at the end with 2 purple parts, and that made the rocket move faster. And you can tell the difference if you only do one, grab one part and just put one part in it. You're going to find that yours is going to move a lot slower than everybody else's. You still might end up winning if on the off chance everybody else's rocket blows up once the race starts. If you look down on the bottom right, you'll see a little notification area that has your name and your color code, and that shows your individual parts. So it's E, H, and S, and the color of those letters are going to indicate the quality of that particular part that is on your rocket. Once it's all done with the adjustments, it's going to transport you over here to the launch site. Some music will play, which I'm muting here because it's most likely copyrighted, and the race will begin. So I'm on the red side there, and we're looking okay, and then pretty good, and then right at the end, I think mine blew up just before the one that's right behind me. So a little bit of a bummer there, but again, win or lose or come in last, you're going to get the same rewards that everybody else is going to get by just participating. So again, if this is something that you just want to whip through real quickly, then you can just go ahead and get one part, and then you can do whatever, go make a sandwich if you want to. It used to be in the past that you could literally just stand there, but they did fix that, so that's good. I mean, you should have to do something to get it. If other people are trying hard because they want to, then at least I guess doing something. But I guess there's not a big difference between just standing there and doing nothing and going off and grabbing one part. So, but they did change that a few years back. You used to be able to basically AFK it, but now you cannot do that anymore. So lastly, let's just talk about this year's event. So this event hasn't changed in years and years and years. So if you're watching this, next year or the year after, it's going to be the same. If it's not, then there would be an updated video that I would have out, and I would have this one marked as no longer good. But for the end of this, let's just talk about what this year's reward's going to be. It's going to be the Photon Burst rifle. Based on the specs, looking at this, it looks like it's going to be fun, but it doesn't look like it's going to do real well. You're limited in the amount of charges that you get, and the charge up time is pretty long. We'll have to get it in game before we really know, what the deal is exactly. But it does look pretty cool, and I think this is from one of the games? I can't remember. Somebody told me, and I can't remember what it is. Let me know in the comments what this weapon's from. I know it was seen in something else. It might have been in one of the, was it Elite Force, or I can't remember what the hell it was called. But anyways, it's a cool item. Hopefully it works real well. But again, based on what we can see so far, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to do a ton of damage. Hopefully I'm wrong, but again, it doesn't look like it. But with many things in STO, a year from now, something gets changed in the mechanics and whatever, and suddenly it's like the best thing in the game. And trust me, I've been caught with my pants down multiple times, skipping an event, take a break, or, I just got lazy on a few days and didn't complete it. And then that thing ends up becoming, a good thing that I'm just upset that I don't have. And I'm certainly not going to go out and buy it in the mud store if I, slept on it. I just can't do that for the price of something that was free if I would have done it. So I do recommend taking advantage of these, picking up these items. Also note that this is not a part of the year-long event campaign. So if you're just like whatever and you just don't want to do it, this isn't a part of that year-long event campaign to get the all the free goodies at the end of the event with the free ships and lobby and all the different things. So it is not a part of that. So if this is something where you're just like, I don't care about the ground weapon, I never do that, and I don't want to run this, you're not going to be missing out on the big deal that is the event campaign for the year-long event. So I hope that's helpful. This is mainly for newer players that maybe haven't done this, and there's not really a lot of instructions on how to do these things. It kind of says, hey, go do this, but not how to do it. So hopefully that was helpful for you. If this is your favorite event in STO, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But that does it, guys. I appreciate you watching. Until next time, have a good one. Hey guys, appreciate you watching. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, ring the bell, and sub to the channel for the latest news updates and how-to guides.